Hello, welcome to 10th grade academic English. I'm Mr. Jenkins, and I spent a week this summer on the battlefield at Gettysburg. And while in Gettysburg, I bought from a reputable dealer an authenticated Confederate bullet discovered on what's called the high water mark of the battlefield. I'm going to use this bullet as a symbol of the class. And we're not going to discuss the Civil War or necessarily war in general, but we're going to do a literary unit called Ourselves and Others. And just as in the Civil War, the people of one nation saw themselves as different as others, whether politically, ethnically, geographically, the works we're going to cover this year deal with people from one group who discover someone who's different, an outsider, an other. For example, the first work we read is a fantasy work in which a wife describes how kind, how loving her husband was. He was a good husband, a good father. Yet over time, he becomes different. He becomes dangerous. He becomes the other. We'll finish the unit with a short poem written by a Native American. It's based on the Indian Relocation Act of 1956, in which the federal government encouraged Native Americans to leave the reservation and move to cities to work in industry. Her father now works in the stockyards, most likely in Chicago, and yet he can't forget his other self, really his true self, his Indian heritage. The question is, how then do we deal with people in our family, our school, our community, our nation, who we see as the other? To talk about how to build the bonds to work together, we'll do some work with a Supreme Court case, Texas versus Johnson. It's the flag burning case of 1986. We'll also read an essay about the Supreme Court decision, describing how we can have different views and still be part of one group, one nation. We're also going to read Shakespeare's shortest and bloodiest work, Macbeth. And it ties into the unit as well, because Macbeth, due to his overwhelming ambition, kills someone from his own group, his cousin, just so he can become the other, the king. We'll finish the semester with a short novel, Bless the Beasts and Children. The main characters are 6 boys coming from wealthy families in the East, going to a cowboy camp in Arizona. And soon they find out that they're the others, they're different. And by trying to save something else that's different, that's unwanted, they find out they're actually saving themselves. Now, throughout the semester, we'll do extensive work on vocabulary. Every week, there'll be a new vocabulary list and a vocabulary quiz or test. A couple years ago, I went to a seminar on how to teach older students how to read better. And the presenter said there's only 2 things a teacher can do to improve the reading skills of a teenager. One is to increase students' inference skills, so they can make strong, educated guesses backed up with good evidence. The other, of course, is vocabulary. We'll also do some composition. We're not going to do essays this year, but we're going to work on strengthening paragraph structure. Every test will have a paragraph answer with it. And we'll also have a project, a paragraph portfolio, in which students will develop, revise, edit, and finally publish 6 perfect paragraphs. So by the end of the semester, hopefully students' reading, writing, and thinking skills will become as solid as this old bullet.